Let me talk to you today about death. I know a lot of people don't like talking about it, but it needs to be said. If you're going through a situation at the moment, or you don't know how to deal with it, or you don't understand, it's very simple. Don't overthink it. First of all, you gotta understand once and for all that death is part of life. Death will come when it does without warning. You might be at the top of your game. You might not even make any decision. And when it happens, and that's it. Once it's your time, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to learn to accept it. A lot of people usually say, don't cry, you'll be all right. That's where you're wrong. I was wrong. You need to let it all out. Don't hold anything in. You need to accept that the pages no longer turn, but instead the book is over. Once you understand that the book is over, the story is put away, now you can only remember those folks simply by never forgetting what they taught you. A couple nights ago, I watched my son have his little tantrums, He's a teenager. I get it. We're all meant to go through that process. I didn't really want to get into it too deep because he's helping me realize that no matter what I tell him, no matter how I try to write out a game plan for him, because he's into sports, and I figured if he sees it written out on a whiteboard and use sports analogy, he would understand how to be successful, and he would finally understand that 9 to 5 is not the way to go. As a parent, what I learned is that no matter how much I do all these things, in his mind it feels like I'm trying to control his future. So take it from me, I backed away, packed up, and that's it. It's not saying that I'm quitting. I'm not. What I'm realizing is that we have to allow our children to fall so that way they can understand that your intent was good and it was never meant to try to dictate their next step towards what you could have done. One thing I try to express on this channel is that you have to make sure that when you're doing things for your children, you're doing things for your children for them, and you have to allow them to see that. Because if you're going to be that parent who's going to glorify things and going to live your old glory days through your children, then that's where you're wrong, my friend. You can't be doing that. You have to allow your children to experience life themselves. As for me, what I'm learning is that the more I try to put things down as far as a game plan to help them understand that, hey, this is what you should do. If I was your age, I would try, but I'm not your age, and I didn't go that route. This is where I am. I don't want you to be here. I don't want you to get up every morning being tired to go to a job that doesn't value you. I don't want you to come home from a hard day's work and then not being valued there either. And then finding your own value just in that hyphen moment of to work, from work. I don't want you to be like everybody else that is labeled The Walking Dead. We're just zombies. A lot of people said, oh, well, 2012, the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, 2012, the zombie apocalypse. It did happen. You just didn't realize it. Heck, at this point, we're all part of that simulation. Why? Because we're too busy on our devices. And what happens when you get too focused on the device? You miss a lot of things around you. So when death comes knocking at your door, all of a sudden everybody has time for one another. All of a sudden you can call in to work and say, hey, I need the time off because a loved one passed away. Why couldn't you do that when your loved one was alive? Ask yourself that question. For those of us that still have those loved ones around us, why don't we make time for them right now? It's amazing how most families live no more than a couple blocks or a couple miles away from each other. And yet, if you're living in a little small town and your loved one is across town, you never once made the effort to go visit your loved one. And then when your loved one is gone, you want to sit there and say, why have you forsaken me, universe? Why have you taken, the best of whatever? No, dude. The universe didn't take anything. Their story was written. Their last page was turned. And all that's left is the guilt. And that's why we shed tears. That's why we buy nice set of flowers and roses or whatever you want to call it. And you want to honor someone. Why don't you honor them right now that they're alive? Heck, when it's payday, instead of going out and party with your friends, why don't you try something different? Grab that person whom you're going to want to honor and honor them now. For example, you can honor your parents by just, hey, get ready. We're going to this place and we're going to go out to eat. If you don't want to go out to eat because it's too expensive, that's fine. Grab the things you need. Show up at your parents' home. Barbecue for them. Whatever it is, cook them a meal. Honor them. Have a beer with them. Do it right now. Play some nice music that they love. Watch a great movie that's going to make you guys tear up and be joyful of the moment. Right now is the time to do so. When someone is gone, why are you honoring them then? Which now is going to equal to missing them. And now that you're missing them, you're feeling down and out. Then you're going to turn around and say, oh, well, because somebody's gone, I'm going to use that pain to fuel my future. I'm going to go hit the gym and I'm going to become a gym rat. I'm going back to school and I'm going to get my degree. Why do we have to wait for negative things to occur for us to say that we're going to move our foot forward? The point is that you have to move now. To me, death is like a blessing. Because if I'm suffering, I don't want to live forever. And when death comes, it's a blessing because the pain is gone. Think about it for a second. Nobody talks about this stuff. They say that it's taboo. Now they're looking at talking about death like if it was pornographic stuff. It's not. It's the reality of things. Death. Silence. No more having to go to work. No more having to deal with pain. No more having to go and anything. We don't know what's on the other side. We just know that death comes. It is what it is. And there's nothing we can do about it. When death is here, you don't have to. Because now it is what it is. So think about it. Don't be afraid. Don't stop. Don't quit. Just keep moving forward.